evening, everybody, and welcome to Bull Ant TV. Yes, Bull Ant TV. I'd like to introduce you to Amit Chaudhary. Amit,
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Amit, you're our Director of Cricket for this season, but before we talk about that, we want to talk about you.
Yep.
You've been in Australia for 20 plus years, or thereabouts.
Yep.
You come from whereabouts?
India.
Yeah, what city?
Northern part.
Yeah.
Just 40 k's off Delhi.
Delhi?
Capital.
Yep. And you were the son of a very good cricketer?
No, volleyball player.
Volleyball player?
My father played volleyball for India in late 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but cricket was your game?
So, as a junior, I played basketball. Mm-hmm. And then I went to AIS equivalent in India. We got Sports Authority of India. Mm-hmm. And then obviously there was no specific pathway to cricket at that time. Mm-hmm. In the early 90s, this is 1991.
Yep.
And so we had to choose only out of 10 disciplines. Mm-hmm. And the discipline which I chose at that time was basketball.
Right.
Cricket, you always play in India as a street game. Mm-hmm. That was the second game by nature to everyone.
Yep.
Being popular.
Yeah. And when did you really realise that you were a good cricketer?
I never realised until today.
You're too modest.
So I came and then I didn't have work. I came in 98 and the season was already starting. So I used to live on Bell Street. Mm-hmm. And there's a ground, McDonald's Reserve.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So one of the Saturdays I saw these guys playing, so as a keen observer I went and had a look. Mm-hmm. And they were just blocking the spinner. And at tea there was an Indian guy and I said, why aren't you guys scoring? And he said, it's 80 over game, so we had to play. I said, still you can hit. Yeah. He goes, you think you can hit? And I said, I think I can. And they invited me, and that was East Coburg Cricket Club, not too far down Bell Street. And that's how my cricket started.
Okay.
And I ended up going there, played half a season there because half of the season was already gone.
Yep. And you progressed into bowling medium pace?
So I started there as a spinner. Mm-hmm. And then I went from there. The coach moved to Hague Faulkner, mm-hmm. which used to be Hague Amateur before the merger. And the coach took a lot of guys with them, and I was one of them. Yeah. And I bowled spin there for a good part of 2-3 years, and then that coach parted ways with the club. And with a friend, I moved to Moonee Valley Cricket Club, and that's the first time I started bowling a medium pace in the nets.
Right.
Yeah, because they had a couple of guys injured, mm-hmm. and the captain said, no ball spin because you don't turn.
Okay, right. Yeah, so you took it up, and then over the years you obviously developed the craft into becoming a very polished bowler. Mm.
So I had a couple of good friends who used to bowl medium pace. He actually played for Canberra Comets,
right,
which was in the second tier.
Yes, yeah.
And a lot of credit goes to him, and he was a fast bowler. He played at Melbourne even and Footscray. And he basically taught me what to do with the new ball and so forth, and that is where I think the fast bowling, medium pace came into existence for me.
At Moonee Valley you had a lot of success?
Yeah, so Moonee Valley was a very successful and big club. So I went there 2007-8 season. First season, due to work commitments, I was doing a lot of work in Tassie, so I never got to play, and I was hindered with quad injury there, which
reappeared last year.
Reappeared last year. Yeah. So I was in and out, not playing work. But 2008 and 9 was the first proper season. Mm-hmm. So we made the finals, but due to weather, finished second. Bundled out in a close final. Next year, both grand finalists used to get promoted, and we ended up playing the same opposition in a higher grade, and ended up beating them. So that was my first flag in Australia. Then we won 2 more there, and then I moved to West Coburg from there. Then we were lucky first year winning one there. And the following year we lost the semi. And then 2014 I made the transition to the old club, Haig Faulkner, which was strived of success. And that's where first time I became captain coach.
Okay. And what was your record as captain coach? Four premierships?
3 years captain coach. Fourth one, the last one, which was my last one, which I had to make a transition because obviously getting old. So WAB was the baton was passed to WAB, and then we ended up winning. First year of WAB's captaincy, we ended up winning the senior division in VTC.
Wow.
And I played, obviously.
So Haig Faulkner was a bit of a small club compared to some of the big clubs, so to be competitive in that environment and actually to win premierships is a huge effort.
Yeah, it was. And as probably you would know, it was brought up in one of the discussions in the meetings in a lot of competitions, that the amount of money being spent in VTCA is, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, so Yarraville and the Deer Parks and the Aberfeldies are the big spending clubs. They've got state players. This year, Deer Park has got Fawad, who's international. Dean Russ, who's the captain, is a state player. 2-3 well-known players from Premier and Subbies, Shelley, and they've gone there this year. So Haig was a very small, their budget never exceeded more than 40 grand. It was always below that.
Roll the clock forward to 2023 and our paths came across one Sunday afternoon at the Northcote Hotel, and we were lucky enough to recruit Amit, which meant Fab was coming, and Shaq come, and you came into the club this time last year, or thereabouts, and all made an instant impression. Firstly as players, but secondly as fantastic club people around here. What was your? It must have been tough coming into a new environment at that age.
Look, I'll be honest with you, I never thought that I'll leave Haig. Haig was family for me. I played 9 years there, 4 premierships, 3 of them as a skipper. So that was very hard to absorb. To make that transition was hard at this age to come. Now, one part which has gone missing from that is my family is completely gone. Like, you rarely see them. They were a daily presence at Haig, unfortunately, because it's a big change for them. My sons, unfortunately, Preston doesn't have juniors, so that meant it was hard for the kids to come with me and to play here. And that particular part then obviously meant that he started staying home, and if with him, wife stays home, we've got a younger boy, he stays home. So that was the hardest part, to be not able to include them to transitioning to Preston. And second was the age factor for me, changing in the mid-40s to make that transition to a new club. And unfortunately, the injuries came and could never perform the way I was very lucky. Last year was the first time I missed games because of injury in last 10, 12 years. Wow. I've never...
Well, you took wickets both in the seconds and the ones when you had the opportunity to play in the ones. And you showed your talents, medium pace, did a bit with the ball, and worried players, worried batsmen. That's the way it seemed to me as a spectator.
I enjoyed the team. Obviously, the wickets are a little bit better at subbies, I would say, and there's no doubt. And the batsmen get full value, plus the outfield. Predominantly, most of the grounds we played in BTC, they've got couch grass, so the ball doesn't run that fast as what it does in the grounds I played at subbies. It was a good thing, good to see, and it was a change, and we were prepared for a change, and I'm pretty sure the 2 lads who came with me, Wab and Shaq, they would say the same. Shaq has one of the best years. Wab, had the best year, making 600 odd runs. With
Phenomenal.
It was. So he got definitely the value of the wicket and the outfield.
Yes, and Shaq had
a tremendous year.
Tremendous year as well.
Yeah.
So, rolling the clock forward towards the second half of the season, and you and I started talking about a role for you in the club, and at the end of the season, the committee appointed you as the Director of Cricket, which, just to explain to everyone, that's managing all of the cricket operations, which includes the coaching staff and the playing, how we play, looking after selection, and of course recruiting. You've had a big role in that. It's been a huge off-season. We've recruited a lot of players, younger players have come in to complement our existing players. We've got some experienced players to come in to complement our experienced players. How do you think we're sort of shaping up 1 week out from the first game?
Look, it's exciting time, any club this time, because everyone eyes for the silverware or aims to be playing finals, and we are no different. But our litmus test will come in the games. You know, you can only prepare to a level you think everyone is full of energy. We've got young guys who have come new to the club. We've got experienced guys come on board this year. We haven't made big announcement. This is our signing, because that's the way we want to operate. Fly under the radar, you know. But in terms of the numbers are very, very strong. We believe that we are well prepared. There's a lot of pressure going to be in the ones for selection, which is good. We've only lost 1 or 2 guys from last year, but then we got replacements coming for them. So we got the whole senior group in terms of bowling, with Kyle, our former captain, Marcus Murphy, Mahesh, who's the spinner. We lost Amir, unfortunately, and we've lost Darcy Hunter, one of the all-rounders and gun fielder, because he returned to country. But then we've replaced them with good quality players and a couple of the youngsters who we believe that will hold their own when the opportunity they get.
There is some exciting young talent. Some really young kids who you're going to develop during the course of the year, but there's also some young kids who are very close to being first 11 players.
So like last year, like I still say James and Riley, they're young guys, but with the addition of a couple of senior guys along with Vab and other couple of senior batsmen, I think they'll benefit the most with the addition of senior guys, because the batting last year, what I saw and felt is that if Wab and Shaq didn't make runs up the order, it was left to the bowlers to do it. And we had a lower order, which was good, which always performed and got us scores. But if you have some guys at 4, 5, 6, which also are consistent performers, then in addition to what your lower order gives, which was pretty consistent, I think you add another layer of scores, add to what you used to. So you were 180s, 170s turn into 230, and then you're talking different ball game.
Correct. Correct. Some exciting bowling talent as well. You know, young Lockie Rees, Harry Aitken as the bowler. There's so many of these young bowlers around. They'll get their opportunities during the course of the year.
Yeah, the other thing which we did this year is there's a good core group of senior guys with Wab, Walshy and Dina. So there's a bit load will be spread in terms of giving help to these guys. Last year it was left to too few.
Yes.
And I would say that last year we could see that there was less help, you can say. You know, the arrangement was of different mechanism, so I can't comment on that part because I wasn't the part of it. But certainly it could have been done in a better format. I think with the load spread, I think one of the guys could help a certain brand of people, whether they are spin bowlers, fast bowlers, or fielding or batting. And I think we've covered majority of those areas this year, where your young guys like Harry Aitken, Oni Ray, Lockie Rees, whether they are young batsmen, you know, they can be aided by Wab's help, you know, as a specialist batsman and coaching or whatever, mentoring they need. In terms of bowling, myself or Kyle or Dina can go and teach them what, you know, we feel is required for those guys, and they'll get their opportunity because it's going to be time for those guys a year stronger, bigger, and they've already played in. We've had 4 or 5 practice games already, and they've had their opportunity, and they did perform
very well.
The other guy who came on is Altaf this year with his left arm tweakers, and I think he's been the standout spinner so far in all our practice games.
Yeah. Well, it's always exciting coming into the season, and as you say, everyone is looking for improvement, and our mantra has been improve, and I think we've done that. I think as an observer of the squad, the squad is getting closer together, typified by our attendances at, for example, at the Players Sponsor Night last week. We had about 70 in the room, which was unbelievable, and a few other functions. We're changing things a bit, or you're changing things a bit this year, where players' dinner is compulsory, and get back to being at the club on a Saturday evening after match day, reminiscing about the game and learning off some of the senior players. So you've made a huge difference in a short time.
Look, I'm of the view, if we're not good off the field, then on field we'll struggle.
Yes.
So that's the mantra I've used. In what we did at Hague, I'm trying to replicate, obviously, at a little bigger scale. We always used to have players stay and do the right thing by the club on Thursdays and on Saturdays, and that's the philosophy we want. We want, it's not my way, they are the people, the parents.
Yes.
They'll make the club great, not me. And if we cater for them, automatically they'll transpire on the field.
Spot on.
That's what we're trying to do. We make them feel welcome, and let's hope that takes us where we want to be.
Finally, you're going to make a cameo in the Fifths this year, and your son is going to be playing in the side with you. No pressure on him.
Yeah. So the aim is that I get to play with him. I always wanted to do that, and I hope that he plays for longer. But if he doesn't, you know, well, I've given a best shot to play with him, and Sunday will provide that opportunity to me. There's not too much. It's a one-day cricket. Gets over quickly in a day. We get to play on the main oval, which is another attribute and you know, carrot for me. And yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and that way I could spend Saturday with our players, you know, to go and observe them and so forth. So you get the best of both worlds. You don't miss out on watching our players, the work we've done, and you still get an opportunity to play on the following day.
Fantastic. Amit, I hope it's a great season. I know it will be.
Thank you.
All the best.